Great. So thanks for taking some time. Can you tell me a little bit about your journey so far?
12 years ago, so in March, I was diagnosed with ACC. Preceding that, for 3.5 years, I had really bad breast pain and was told by my GP, who coincidentally was dying of breast cancer, that cancer of the breast most times is not painful, but she sent me off to the Sydney Breast Clinic and they could find nothing. And I did numerous tests and nothing was ever found. So sent me home. A year later I turned up again and they could find nothing, sent me home, said come back in 18 months. By then I was starting to feel like I was this neurotic person, but it was impacting on my sex life, to bring something up. And as a preschool director, if a child would come up to hug me, it was unbearable pain to have a child sitting on my left side. So I would end up telling stories and sitting with children with them all stacked up in a row on this side, just purely because that side was so painful. And then on that last visit, at about the 3.5 year mark from when I started feeling pain, they kind of went, oh, actually, it's not in your breast, there's something here that we can find. And they did the biopsies for that, and that was excruciating. ACC grows along perineural your nerves, and to put a biopsy needle into this, which we found out then was the tumour actually repels the needle, and the needle finds it very hard to penetrate. So it took them about 15 minutes to get this needle properly into this tumour, just to get the little skerrick of cells, and they said they just had just enough to send away. So that happened, that's nearly 16 years ago, and they rang me 2 days later to say, yes, you have got some abnormal cells, don't know what they are, we'll send you off for a further biopsy. So I ended up going in for a surgical biopsy for that because the fine needle one was so painful, and I have a very high threshold pain. And then that came back. I went into the specialist on a Monday morning, and it was a really weird feeling because I'm crossing the road and these garbos or somebody went past me and whistled, and I thought, and I must have been 42, 43, and I thought, hey, I can't have cancer. Some guys just whistled at me. So I felt a little bounce in my step as I walk into the specialist, and I sit down and he said, and how's your weekend? And then says, and by the way, you've actually got cancer, and it's a cancer I've never seen in my life, never heard of, and probably never will see or hear of again. So I had to Google it myself over the weekend to discover what you've got. And then, oh, here's a box of tissues, and are you okay? And it was like, oh my goodness, I've got cancer. I can remember being up on the ceiling, looking down and going, there's a lady down there with cancer, and then falling into that body and going, no, it's me, I've got cancer. And that was sort of the start of the journey, and it was just like, well, no, cancer happens to somebody else, not to people like me. It just doesn't happen. So I had cancer. So that was the start of it. And back in those days, as if it's the olden days, back in black and white, but we didn't understand enough about ACC, so I ended up having a mastectomy and having my breast removed, and now we wouldn't do that because, as I said, it was floating totally in the chest wall, so it was it's a totally random rare cancer in an even more random and rare place. Mm-hmm. So that was probably the start of my cancer journey, and then since then I've had about 26 skin cancers removed as well, so my cancer journey is well and truly started. So somewhere on the way there's cancer growing in my body all the time, so but hey,
it's an ongoing maintenance.
Yes, yeah. And